Local museums like the Museum of Fine Art, Houston, are cautiously reopening with a limited number of people allowed. But where does that put outreach programs? One, Hang at MFAH, has resorted to the uncommon, using the computer game Minecraft.
It's a program for high school students, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We meet typically once a week at the museum during the academic year. Sometimes we pick up some extra time during the summer months. So really the group is really made up of students who are interested in museums, art, and of course technology, because technology is really ubiquitous when it comes to our world these days. Luckily, because it's making COVID a little less wonky for all of us. But there are students who are really just interested in investigating museum collections through the lens of technology. Unfortunately, we're not able to meet as a group at the museum right now, which is, our preference, of course, to get everybody in the galleries together. But we started to think about what are some ways that we can reinvent the program in a really thoughtful, virtual space rather than, sort of just an online meeting, right? Like through Zoom, which we did a little bit of that as school shifted over to schooling from home in the spring semester, and it worked fine. But, Hang is really about sort of thinking through new and interesting ways to connect with each other, but also connect with collections. And so, of course, Minecraft came to mind as we were thinking about a different type of virtual space in which we could meet and have dialogue about aesthetics, thinking about Minecraft as a sculptural space, even though it's virtual, and making the connections between sort of constructing objects or spaces, much like we do at the museum. And rather than it being a replacement for our in-person meetings, though we can't do that right now, it's much more of a supplemental, experimental way to meet virtually. I think it is going to afford us some opportunities to connect with students who can't typically get to the museum weekly. That's a tricky thing for a lot of people across this huge city. So I think it will actually bring a new group of interested students together, allow them to connect to each other, allow them to connect to us, and see what we can do in a virtual space like Minecraft. So they should visit the museum's website, mfah.org, and a simple Google search for Hang will sort of pop up the page with all the information. They can also email teens@mfah.org, and we can send them all the information they could possibly want, and then probably a little bit more. We're excited to see what the future holds. I think Hang is the perfect group to experiment with new virtual spaces in terms of meeting up and experimenting with the way aesthetics interplay with technology.
For Artbeat, this is Randall Williams.